Thank you, Nazanin. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Tedx Monte Carlo. Don't you know we're talking about a revolution? Sounds like a whisper, except that here, we're not whispering. At Tedx Monte Carlo, we are loud and we are proud. Yay! Yay! Thank you. Thank you. It is with great pride that I get to introduce our first speaker today. It is somebody who's actually known for his extremely low profile and discreet approach to fashion, while styling some of the highest profile and spotlight-conscious celebrities in the world, like Beyoncé and Kim Kardashian. Jenkei Ahmed Tayi seeks evolution through revolution to create racial diversity in fashion. His strategy includes hiring of fashion models of different races, but also integrating the business side of fashion to guarantee more diverse faces on magazine covers and on the runway. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jenkei Ahmed Tayi. So, fashion as a way of expressing yourself. Thank you. So, our next speaker has expressed himself through a book 10 years ago, which was Immigrants, Your Country Needs Them. And in 2014, European Spring, Why Our Economies and Politics Are a Mess, and How to Put Them Right. This book made the Financial Times Best Books list, and I imagine that the presidents and prime ministers of many neighboring countries still have that book next to their bed. Philippe Lagrange is a critically acclaimed author, speaker, and senior policy advisor. Earlier this year, he launched his new think tank called Open, for Open Political Economy Network, whose mission is to break down barriers between countries and within them. Ladies and gentlemen, Philippe Lagrange. Thank you, Philippe. Doesn't he look like his grandfather? Yeah. He would be very proud of him, I'm sure. So Philippe has spoken to us about how welcoming refugees is an investment and that it's an opportunity to be welcomed. Well, now here's my opportunity to welcome our next speaker. And now she is somebody who has navigated her life and career in the same way as her passion for sailing since the age of 3.5. Alicia Barrière has raced across the Atlantic 14 times, and in 2010 embarked on a solo world tour. With the support of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, Alicia returned after 5 months and 20,000 nautical miles with a boat full of research data to help scientists protect her precious oceans and our planet. Please welcome to the stage sailor, ocean keeper, and entrepreneur Alicia Barrière. So, Alicia Barrière, ladies and gentlemen, not only is she a sailor for science, it's her birthday today. So please join me in wishing her happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy birthday. What a way to spend your birthday. Alicia mentioned to me that sometimes when she's at sea, it feels like she's in a washing machine. Don't you hate that feeling? And then she asks who's going to join her next time. Right. Okay, so certainly, you know, she was a basketball player. You know, what she lost in inches for that, she certainly made up for on the oceans. Now, our next speaker has been passionate about the issues of global health since student days, marching on the local cigarette factory in his native South Africa. Tedx Monte has been characterized as a thorn in the side of the junk food industry, but he's also attempted to create evolution through revolution by working for the Pepsi-Cola Corporation on how to produce healthier product lines. Today, he is Chief Health Officer for the Vitality Institute, which actually wants to pay people to eat right and stay healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tedx Monte. Okay, so Tedx spoke about asking what is possible. And our next speaker, one of his favorite quotations comes from Mark Twain, who wrote, "They didn't know it was impossible, so they did it." Certainly, Mark Vella has done the impossible during the last 2 decades by bringing music to the most remote parts of the world and to people desperately in need of his message of joy. Mark began playing music when he was 5. At the age of 24, he put his grand piano on a trailer and traveled over 200,000 kilometers across 40 countries with the intent of celebrating humanity. Please welcome prize-winning composer, writer, and nomad pianist, Mark Vella. I am imperfect, and it's wonderful. Our next speaker is surely perfect and very wonderful. He is another one whose early career path differed significantly from his current role as a leading specialist in business strategy and engineering. When he was 18, Matthew Beaton moved to France to become a racing cyclist. Today, he advises public and private sector organizations in smart mobility, and he recently finished his first book on the importance of emotional intelligence within business leadership. This is the same subject that he explored this year at the TEDx event hosted by Oxford and Cambridge universities, sharing the stage then with the former Archbishop of Canterbury. I am very pleased to welcome to Tedx Monte Carlo, Matthew Beaton. So far this afternoon, I've learned to embrace myself and who I am. I've learned now to embrace change, and I'm very happy to embrace our next speaker, Sarah Elizabeth Dill. Now, she's a passionate advocate for human rights, particularly in the areas of immigration, human trafficking, and torture of political prisoners. You can imagine her chagrin recently when watching the US TV results, when at the crucial moment, her screen went black. Her dog had stepped on the remote. She is Director of Criminal Justice Standards and Policy for the American Bar Association. A successful lawyer, she also works pro bono, representing victims of domestic violence and aiding asylum for refugees. Please embrace our next speaker, Sarah Elizabeth Dill. Time to disarm. Time to help the young girls of today. And our next presentation is going to be by one such girl of today. She is a young Ukrainian girl, and she moved to Monaco 3 years ago, having started her sporting career as a rhythmic gymnast at the age of 5, which actually is quite late in Ukraine if you plan to receive good competitive results by the time that you are 7. Stella proved that by determination and hard work, miracles can be achieved. She has won countless medals, including the silver medal at the Championship of France last year. I first met Stella a couple of years ago, and since then she has grown into a lovely young lady. And she continues to turn her dedication and talent into big dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stella Picuglia. I mean, we have had a remarkable journey through this first half. But here's the good news. We are now continuing our journey, and we are daring to dream. Now, on the screen, any moment now, there it is, as if by magic. Here is the work of Natalia, our graphic designer, creative graphic designer, who Nazanin mentioned in the introduction in the first half. So she has been drawing every speaker and the sessions, and you can see her work on Twitter. So there we go. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Now, our second session, we are daring to dream. And our first speaker of this second half began his career in politics, serving as an aide to Spain's Prime Minister and as the youngest Spanish member of the European Parliament. His interests eventually turned to sports, and in particular, Formula One racing. Although he still found time to invest in and manage an English Premier football team. Today, Alejandro Agag is founder and chief executive officer for the new Formula E Championship, and he has set up electric car races in 10 different cities around the world, including Monaco, in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, Alejandro Agag. The great thing is that you do have time to listen to all the rest of the speakers, okay? So, but I better speed along, hadn't I? Dr. Françoise Meunier took over the reins of the European Organization for Research and Treatment of Cancer Resource in 1991. And when she did that, it was on the brink of financial collapse with just 28 full-time staff. Today, that organization is a world-class cancer research center with a staff of 200, overseeing a research program that enrolls thousands of patients every year. Dr. Meunier is working tirelessly to address a serious social challenge. Please welcome our next speaker, Dr. Françoise Meunier. Having such a busy afternoon, we've got to break the speed of light. Now we've got to survive and thrive. Thank goodness we're turning our attention to food, because our next speaker is a TV chef, and he's also a renowned food and travel writer. He's also a culinary consultant whose expertise in the earliest origins of food ingredients has earned him the title food archaeologist. Alan Coxon has some very early ties to Monaco. He lived here as a young teenager, and he later returned as a chef, and he catered to the likes of Frank Sinatra, Princess Grace, and Prince Rainier, to name but a few. Alan today acts as British ambassador for food and drink and is working on his 5th cookbook focused on ancient Ayurvedic health and diet practices. It is my great pleasure to welcome Alan Coxon. Achoo! How was it for you? Do you know, I'm never going to look at an avocado in quite the same way. And when I open a bar of chocolate, if Barry White isn't playing in the background, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. So, on to our next speaker. And Bertrand Petit is a seasoned executive and entrepreneur in the luxury sector, with extensive background in the hotel and cruise industry. He's equally effective on land and on sea, on the waves, including an onboard stint as hotel director of the 6-star cruise ships of Silver Sea Cruises, which was voted the best ultra-luxury cruise line 9 years in a row. Now happily working on terra firma, Bertrand is currently Chief Operating Officer of the Monaco-based Parkview Group, as well as a Professor of Management at the International University of Monaco. Please give a big round of applause to Bertrand Petit. Melissa Fleming was going to give a personal message to us to update us on the status of the refugee crisis. Sadly, a life turn for her has meant that she's unable to do it. We've also tried to contact Doha. Unfortunately, she lives in a very remote part of Sweden, and she only speaks Arabic. Skype isn't readily available. But we hope that for next year that we can contact her and also have an update from Melissa too. So our next speaker is probably the only speaker on stage today who is the godmother of a 35,000-ton freighter. Misha Withoff is a senior legal counsel at the Scorpio Group, which is a major shipping company based in Monaco and Mumbai. Fortunately for us today, she's also a certified yoga and meditation teacher, instructing her colleagues at Scorpio as well as a weekly meditation group in Nice. Misha is currently finalizing a simple guide to meditation and is also training to become a certified meditation instructor with the Open Heart Project. That's an online meditation community with more than 20,000 members around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Misha Withoff. I am loved. You are loved. And our next speaker is definitely loved. He is Louie Winsberg, and he's a celebrated musician. He's a composer and producer. And he joined boyhood friends to create the band Los Reyes, which later adopted the name Gypsy Kings. He's been a successful recording artist for more than 30 years as a member of the legendary group Sixon, and as a solo artist and collaborator. He has just released his newest album, For Paco, in tribute to another flamenco revolutionary, Paco de Lucia. And he's currently on tour in Europe, but he's taken the time today to join us. Please welcome Louie Winsberg. Ladies and gentlemen, at the start of this afternoon, I told you that here at Tedx Monte Carlo, we are loud and proud. And I think that we have demonstrated that this afternoon. What a journey that we have been on together. Just in this second session this afternoon, we have been through the speed of light. We've been through Alan's sexy store cupboard. That was quite a treat. And we've also discovered that changing our planet can be done through art. And we've had a bit of meditation. And finally, we have discovered, learnt, and shared through music. It has been a remarkable journey. I have been delighted to spend the time with you. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to bring back on the stage the organizer of this whole wonderful event, Nazanin.